What's up, homies? Welcome back to Rimworld. Hope all's going okay for you so far this week. Just about halfway through. Got one more day and then it's 50% done. Well, I suppose technically, if you look at it from the standpoint of. Oh, never mind. That's the analyst coming out in me. Um, yeah, man, I hope you guys are doing okay. Trying to think if there's anything worth talking about, man. Surprisingly, so far this week, my vehicles have been doing generally okay. Don't really have anything that's new to report on that. I think I mentioned this last time, but I had arranged for a contractor to come out last Saturday to look at some stuff around the house, and or actually he told me he was going to come out on Sunday after calling me, and he never called. But I saw from my work email that he had been trying to call my office line because we've got everything over there, digital and stuff, and it's all kind of connected together. So whenever somebody tries to call an office line, you'll get a notification in your email. And so I called him up and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Hey, man, I've been trying to call you. I sent a text message to this number and then I don't think it went through." And I explained to him that it was my office line and the office lines don't have text and blah blah blah. But he seems like an alright guy, man, and I think it was just a little bit of a lapse. But he at least let me know, which is kind of a coincidence, because most of the contractors out here, man, I hate to say it, but like 90% of them are just freaking deadbeats. What will happen is that you'll call them asking them to come out for a quote, and assuming you're able to even get a hold of someone, they'll play that game where they want you to arrange a time for their convenience, which means that you've got to take off usually time for work or some other type of stuff. Because I don't know about you guys, man, but I know that with me, I'm at work during work hours, should I say, stereotypical normal work hours, which would be something like an 8 through 4 or 4:30, okay? And I work about 30 to 35 minutes away from my home, so if I've ever got to be at the house for a quote visit by a contractor during any of that time, I have to take time off. And at a minimum, I've got to take at least a little bit of time off just to come out here and meet with the person, and then assuming I don't want to take any more time off after that, go and drive back in. And normally, you know, whenever I do these kinds of things, I usually either take the entire day off or I try to arrange it to where I can take a half day or something like that, because I just don't like driving back and forth, 30 to 35 minutes, because I think total that's about 60 miles, and I don't like putting those kinds of miles on my vehicles if I can avoid it. And plus, too, man, it's just inconvenient, having to rush around and do that kind of crap. And thankfully, with my job right now, I have that kind of ability, so I try to take advantage of it whenever I can. So, I mean, like I said, 90% of the time, whenever you're dealing with contractors and stuff out here in the Midwest, or at least specifically where I am, there's just a lack of talent, man. I don't know what it is, and I've tried to figure it out. I've spoken to other contractors about this very type of phenomenon, and a lot of them say that the area that I'm in is just kind of in decline, and I completely believe that. I mean, it doesn't take genius to realize that the best cost of living location in the United States might be in decline, But even despite that fact, you would still expect at least one or two decent contractors to be able to depend on. But I mean, I tell you, bud, it's I don't know, man. If you find a good contractor that you can depend on, try to treat him well. I'm not necessarily saying lay down in the road for him, but try not to piss him off or anything, because there's a massive problem going on right now, I think, in this country, where trade specific types of contractors and stuff are in like massive decline, or should I say massive in massive demand, I mean. But yeah, anyway, he spoke to him, cleared everything up, and he's now going to come out on Sunday, I think, or Saturday, I think it was. I've got it in my calendar. but I'm pretty sure it's Saturday, and hopefully get that situated. So I'm kind of happy about that. That's kind of a little bit of a relief, because I'm definitely not that type of person who knows how to do a lot of that stuff, especially the stuff that involves things like siding or, like my specific issue with this garage where I've got to, I think, get some flashing installed around the header. I don't know anything about that kind of crap, man. I mean, if push came to shove and I had more disposable income and, I wasn't as kind of filled with anxiety about things pertaining to my vehicles or other stuff, I might give some of that kind of stuff a shot to do on my own. Because really, I think as long as it is just the flashing, and for anybody who doesn't understand what I'm talking about, flashing is essentially some of the stuff that you use to prevent water penetration in certain areas. And for me, I think it's kind of like nothing more than a type of especially bent sheet metal that has to go in underneath the siding, because I think that's where the flashing is needed in this particular situation. Well, anyway, I don't know anything really about that, and even if I did, I'd have to have certain kinds of tools to be able to mold the flashing into the shape that in contours that I have to have it molded in, which means that I would need something called a brake to be able to bend everything that I need, in terms of the shape. So even if I wanted to take a crack at it, I'd have to tool up and buy some stuff. And I don't mind buying tools and doing that kind of work. I mean, I actually love doing that kind of stuff, but I was never really taught that kind of stuff by anyone in my family. I mean, I had some guys in my family that knew how to do some of that stuff, I think, but and this isn't me like, playing the woe is me card, bitching and complaining about either a father or brother or anybody else not teaching me what I need in order to survive. This isn't what that is. I don't expect them to teach me how to be a carpenter or something here, but uh, I will say this much though. I never realized, you know, growing up that there would be these kinds of problems finding contractors when you're willing to pay them whatever it is that they want to charge you for the kind of stuff that I'm needing help with. And that's the thing that irritates me. And I get a lot of that too whenever I'm trying to get qualified people to work on my car or truck, because right now as it stands, I've got two main places that I take my vehicles to whenever something goes south. One is an actual uh, Chevy dealership, and another one is more of a mom and pop shop. And as long as it doesn't involve anything super complicated, both of those shops are actually really awesome. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that the dealership usually charges more because that's just what dealerships do. I mean, they've got their certain kinds of, standards and benchmark qualifications that most of their techs go through to get credentialed in certain things. So there's a lot of reasons that they charge as much as they do. And again, whenever it involves my babies, I don't mind paying whatever it is that I'm expected to pay whenever it comes down to it. But the thing that pisses me off is whenever you go in there wanting to pay whatever money they charge, only to take your car or truck in there to have them look at something and say, well, we're not going to mess with that because of X, Y, and Z, as if you're just kind of fucked. That's the thing that pisses me off, because that happened not long ago with my truck. Not to get too far down this rabbit hole here, but a couple years ago, I did a swap with my truck, and ever since day one of getting it back from the shop that did the swap, uh, nothing's really been, as good as it should be. It was a remanufactured engine from a aftermarket manufacturer in my same state, further south. And if you don't understand what a remanufactured engine is, it's basically a rebuilt engine. So understand that rebuilt and remanufactured are two terms that get used interchangeably whenever it involves engine work. But they're supposed to basically mean the same thing, because what it basically boils down to is taking an old engine and basically replacing parts and stuff that need to be replaced, cleaning it all out, cleaning out the galleys and replacing things like crankshafts and tie rods and bearings and stuff like that. Just basically gutting it for the stuff that needs to be gutted, otherwise reusing what can be reused after it's been cleaned and everything. And the end product is theoretically supposed to be as good as a new engine, if not better sometimes, depending on what all's been done. Well, anyway, whenever I got this new remanufactured engine installed in my truck. Um, on day one, literally the first startup, when I went to go pick it up, it started making weird noises. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God. And I tried to brush it off, thinking that it was just break in, because with new engines, you got to break stuff in sometimes. Well, make a really long story short, the engines had about, I had to take it back about 7 or 8 different times just for leaks. None of them were really major leaks. It wasn't anything major like a gasket leak or any kind of shit like that. It was just like a radiator hose, because they kept wanting to use these stupid screw-on worm drive clamps for radiator hoses. And any mechanic that's worth a grain of salt understands that most of the time you've got to use spring-based clamps, because the spring-based clamps fluctuate with the temperature variations of the hoses, because whenever shit warms up or cools down, it can either expand or contract. Well, those worm drive clamps that you've got to use like a screwdriver to clamp on, they're usually like metal, and they've got like little tracks that the worm drive screw fits in, and you tighten it based upon how tight you screw the bolt, or the screw thing. Well, anyway, those things, whenever you tighten them down to a certain extent, if the hose shrinks more, then that means that what was previously set wasn't going to be tight enough, and that's where a lot of the leaking came from. And they never ever replaced it, despite the fact that I kept trying to emphasize to them that this just probably was never going to work. And of course, they kept blowing the customer off, saying, well, that's what we always use, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, about after the 6th or 7th time of that kind of crap, they finally got to a point to where it stopped leaking. I don't know if they just clamped it down enough or what, but before all of that, there was also an oil pressure sensor leak. So that would be like about number 7 or 8, in terms of leaks. And then in between all of that time up to today, they've been in the crankcase about 4 or 5 different times to screw around with the timing assembly, because every single time I've brought it in there, because of things that I've had concerns about with noises and stuff, they've always deduced that the timing chain had too much slack. And the last time they were in there, they replaced this thing called a camshaft phaser, which is basically a thing that assists with stuff related, I think, either to oil pressure or oil circulation, or advancing or retarding the camshafts. And of course, with my make and model of truck, that can play a part in the slack that you can sometimes notice in the timing chain assembly. Anyway, it got to a point at one point where I decided to take the engine or the truck to a different place, which is the dealership. And this is where I come back around to the main point with lackluster mechanics and contractors. So when I took the truck to the dealership, I told them what was going on, and they had it for like a day or two. And after dicking around with it and replacing things, low-hanging fruit shit like changing an oil filter and stuff like that, they came to a point to where they were like, look, we're not going to work on this because of the remanufacturer's liability stuff, policy and warranty processes, because the remanufacturer that the engine was bought from requires all mechanics that service the engine to follow a specific set of procedures to ensure that basically the warranty doesn't go void. And the dealership, long story short, didn't want to have to mess with that, and so they basically told me to go fuck off. And needless to say, that caused some problems between me and the mechanic guy that I usually use, because I kind of got a little snippy with him, saying that I just felt like he just wasn't wanting to work on it. And he got a little snippy with me, telling me that wasn't the case, and it was mostly just the service manager's decision. It wasn't really much to do with him. Well, cooler heads eventually prevailed, but, back to the main point is that even when you're willing to pay money, because at that point, when I was having the dealership, whenever I was trying to get the dealership to work on the engine, because I trust that dealership more than I do the mom and pop shop that installed the engine. That's the reason I took it to them. And that mechanic there at the dealership is also what they call a gold mechanic, which means that he's undergone certain kinds of credentialing and stuff. So anyway, whenever I took it to him, I went in with the expectation that I was going to pay some major money to get that fucking thing fixed once and for all, because the truck, it's just got this weird startup thing where if you don't press on the gas just a tad bit for a few seconds, it wants to start up rough. It's acting almost sometimes like it wants to stall out or something. It doesn't do it as bad as it used to, but it still does it every once in a while if it's cold or something like that. So anyway, I went in thinking that I might even have to get a new head or something like that. Which, when you start talking about replacing heads and doing valve jobs and stuff, you're talking about anywhere between upper 2000s to sometimes 8 grand, depending on the make and model of the vehicle. Now, with my make and model, it'd probably be closer to around maybe 5 or 6, something like that. Because with a procedure like that, they take the head off, and then they send it off to a shop or a fab shop to get it redecked, which means that they basically make it flat again on the side that connects down to the main block of the engine. They do all these things to it, and it's basically like a valve job where you wind up with basically a brand new head. And because the reason I was thinking like that is because the symptoms and stuff that I've noticed with this truck and the things that it does, it's reminiscent of an engine that's got potentially a compression issue or something to do with valves, like as if the valves aren't seating or anything, despite the fact that the truck isn't showing any check engine lights and stuff and everything's running fine whenever it's actually running. But the point is that I was going in there ready to pay, and I was wanting to pay. I was wanting to pay any fucking number they came up with just to get this goddamn thing fixed. Because I've been dealing with this for almost 2.5 years now. And so whenever you go to that length and you still can't get MFers to fix something, it leaves you thinking, man, where in the hell is the world going? Because if you got the cash, and supposedly you've got access to either the mechanics or contractors or whoever that say they can do the work, only to hear them say that they don't want to do the work, what does that say about them? And better yet, what does that say about the entire world? And unfortunately, I just feel like that's kind of the quest that we're all going to be battling at some point, unless you're lucky enough to be within proximity to a major population center like an LA or a Chicago or like a New York City or something, where I guess the pools of talent seem to consolidate, I guess. And I think that's kind of what's going on here. Is you're seeing this like reshuffling consolidation of skill sets and skill pools going to wherever it is that the best customer base exists. And like I said, I think that's just going to be the city centers. I got into an argument last night with a mechanic on a YouTube channel. Hold on a second, I got a cough because my throat's a little gummy. So I kind of got into a little bit of an argument. Not really an argument, it was mostly just a jab here and there. After I watched a video of a mechanic who was on there bitching and complaining about how his background just isn't worth doing anymore. In my opinion, he was basically just kind of whining about how it wasn't financially viable being a mechanic anymore, isn't apparently, according to him. And I got on there, and part of me kind of regrets this because I've got a little bit of a temper sometimes. Because I've got an axe to grind about a lot of stuff in my life, and sometimes I can't disconnect my personal views from other people I don't know. But after watching his video, man, I couldn't help myself. I got pissed off, and I got out there and I posted a remark on his channel basically saying that if you feel as if your background or your work isn't financially viable, then you're a deadbeat who isn't charging anything. Because I mean, what is it exactly that you're doing here? Are you trying to manage an actual business, or are you in this to provide a charity? Because one of his remarks was that he tries to provide cost-effective services so that he can like project himself as if he's this good doer guy, or a goody two shoes type of person who's not robbing people. And yeah, okay, fine. Props to somebody with a good heart. I get it. But the problem is that it's kind of a catch-22, because whenever you're out there working on someone's car and you're charging them like $10 for what would otherwise be $100 job, then sooner or later you're going to get burnout. And the sooner you burn out, the sooner you're not going to be providing any services for anyone, which I don't like, because like I said earlier, there's a massive problem going on right now in the world, or at least in this country, or just my state, where access to qualified mechanics and contractors is a major problem. And so I get pissed off if you're not charging enough for the work that you feel you're worth, because then at that point, if you take yourself out of the talent pool, then that means it's just going to be that much more difficult for me to be able to find somebody to work on my babies, you know? And so that's basically what my argument was. And so, yeah, okay, fine. It sucks to have to pay $100 for what could be potentially like only a $50 job somewhere else. But on the same end too, if you feel like you're worth that much and your results prove that, then at least me, I mean, my perspective is that I want to pay that then, because then that means that I'll have somebody that I can depend on to fix the problems that I come up against. Because obviously, I'm not going to go out there into my garage without having the tools and the disposable income and stuff and try to take a whack on replacing a crankshaft or some shit in my one of my engines. I'm an IT guy, man. I don't I mean, I know enough to be a little dangerous with some of that shit, and if I really put my heart and mind to it, I could probably figure some of that kind of shit out. The point though is that if you've got the money and you know of somebody who's worth the kind of skill set that you're after to do that kind of stuff for you, I'm I at least am okay with paying absurd prices if that means that the problems get fixed. And it kind of coincides with being able to tool up and or skill up, because if you're a mechanic again who's being burnt out because he's just dreading something like that, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be because you either don't have the proper tools to do the work right, or you don't know what the fuck you're doing in general. And the best way to fix those things is to either tool up or skill up. And if you don't have the money to do that, then it's a catch 22 again, because if you're not charging enough to be able to tool up or skill up, I told that guy, I was like, if you're not doing those two things, then get the fuck out of Dodge and let somebody else with the desire and hunger step in. Because otherwise, you're just taking up what would otherwise be customers for some of those other people that actually have the hunger to do stuff. And of course, that I think that's where he basically stopped communicating with me, which I don't blame him for. I know I can be a dickhead sometimes, and I try not to be, man. But whenever you wake up each day waiting for the other foot to drop every single day of the week, you know, when you're willing to throw whatever money contractors want at problems only to still hear them say, "Nah, I don't feel like working on that," then I'm sorry, man. Patience gets thrown out the door too. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been up to. That, and of course watching Trump rallies and shit like that. I guess JD Vance is actually deciding to go on the Joe Rogan podcast tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. Any of my Trump supporters out there that watch my videos, man, they'll know that I'm definitely on the Trump train, and I hope you guys like JD Vance. I personally love him to death. I think he's Trump's little Excalibur, man. I mean, that guy, he knows how to debate. He's sharp. He's diplomatic, from what I can tell, from what I've seen at least so far. That debate that he had with Walls, I thought was really awesome, man. He really did a number on Walls, and not really a number on Walls as much as it was just showing what kind of character JD Vance has. I just think he really shined bright. But that's coming up. I really got a kick out of the Madison Square Garden rally that they had, man. That shit was awesome. That was right up there in terms of quality that the RNC represented in my mind. Because I love the RNC. I thought that shit was amazing. And the Madison Square Garden was right up there with that. I really loved I really loved it whenever Melania walked out to uh, uh, the Guns N' Roses song. I can't remember what it is, and I should be able to remember because I love that group. But that was in my opinion, that was one of the highlights of it. But supposedly, at least as far as polls are concerned, they're making it sound as if Trump's going to wind up pulling through with all of this. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that we've only got like a few more days. I don't know where time goes, man, but it just has really, really flown by. So we've got like what, 5, 6 days or 7 or something like that before election night. It's kind of crazy to think about. I've already voted. I decided to go ahead and vote early. I don't know what to think about some of that stuff, man. I figure if somebody's going to cheat or fuck around with the election system, it's not, in all likelihood, it's not going to matter if you vote early or day of, man. I don't know. I don't know what to think about all that, but assuming we do have an election system that's somewhat worthy or trustworthy and stuff, I'm feeling pretty confident about Trump. But I don't know. We'll just have to see, I guess. Uh, is there anything else? I think that's about it, man, as far as like non-game stuff is concerned. And like I said, I don't mean to get on tangents or anything, but sometimes it's good to kind of talk about these kinds of things. So, I guess we'll go ahead and jump in, man. Yeah, and I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you're safe and living a good life wherever you are in the world. Hope you're getting good weather. We're getting some decent weather. We could actually use some rain, man. We've had a really dry. Uh, I mean, the summer was pretty dry compared to other summers that we've had, but the fall has so far has been really dry. And in fact, I think we have some burn bans in the area. I think it's kind of like a drought condition. But you're not going to wind up hearing me bitch and complain about that because every time it rains a lot, I always kind of get a little anxious with my basement because I've got a basement that likes to seep a little water every once in a while. And of course, I've got two freaking sump pumps in like a 900 square foot home. So, I mean, that I'll tell you it's something right there. Okay, anyway, rambling aside. Uh, like I said in the last episode, man, I'm just going to keep trying to work on this wall, get that done once and for all. We're actually making a lot of progress with it, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. But now that it's winter and the animals are in the pens, I think what I'm going to do now is take care of these gate areas because we've got to place those segments of wall right there. Let me see here. So let's go ahead and do that. Get my planner out. Should be 9. Hold on a second. It's like 8. That's not good. Oh, never mind. I just, for some reason, I guess I missed a block right there. Or placement. Okay. Okay, let's deconstruct this. Deconstruct this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And deconstruct that. I doubt that land right there is ready for this. Yeah, unfortunately. Looks like we can place these though. Now that's, let me see here. We've got 5, 5, 5. So after the third 5, what is it? I can't remember. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 4, 4, 3. 4. And then we just meet up with the building right there. And can't. One block there for some reason. Because that's a dry block, I guess. Okay, so there's that. Now, I think this is where we do the bunch of 2s. I think. So 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4. I need to deconstruct this stuff. Forgot about that. Let's do that. Okay. 2, 3. Actually, 4, 2, 3. Or I could just do this. Three, 2, 3. 3, 3, 2, 3. 3, 3, 2, 3. 3, 3, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay. Continue on from up here. Okay, so 2. 1. I think I had, or at least I was in the process of making it, I think. Yeah, it's right there. Or actually, I've got it marked as a 2. So there's actually going to have to be a... Shit, what is it? Okay. I see what's going on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 twos. I think. Shit, I better... This is so frustrating. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Hoping and praying that that's right. Two, 2, 3. 2, 3. Yes. All right. So once I remove this stupid thing, I can continue. I can put the third block right here. Good deal. Okay, let's deconstruct that. This freaking mud. You know, that's what it is. We can at least build the gate and the 2 blocks hopefully it'll extract the moisture before we have to put the animals back out. But that being said, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove some of this mess here. It's getting kind of difficult to keep track of things. Cleanliness is next to godliness. I do not like having a bunch of shit all over the place. Badass, man. By the time we get this built, man, we'll only have like maybe around a quarter left. It's looking good. Better check on the temp and the pins. This is 45, 62, 57, 42, 64, 45. We're looking pretty good. Of course, inside it's perfectly fine. 69, 69, 70, 69. Okay, good. Hey, what do you know? Another fight. Oh. Okay, hold on a second. Max and Pickle, huh? There for a split second, I was thinking somebody might have died. I don't think that's the case, though. Components, take all of those. Advanced. That. Bison bedroll? Yeah, I'll take that. I could use some more bedrolls for whenever we go on trips and stuff. Tons of meat. Speaking of which, I've got some drumsticks that I might make for supper. Sounds good. Panther meat. Why not? Okay. So there's that. We'll get rid of the old guy here. Oh, that's to sell. Okay, never mind. Get rid of this one. Actually, no, I won't. And the reason I won't is because at some point, I'm sure we'll wind up coming across another ancient complex. And I try to do everything I can to avoid taking the animals that have the Mr. or Mrs. to them. So I'll leave that male alone. I don't want to sell him. I usually don't take females on trips. We'll get rid of this guy though. This little gal right here. I don't think we've got a Mr. or Mrs. Horse anymore. I need to go back through some of these animals and give a pair in each group a Mr. or Mrs. label, because that's usually what I use to avoid making sure that to avoid selling them, you know. A 6-year-old male, though. I'm going to hang on to the 3-year-old. I'm going to get rid of this one, though. Okay. Now let's just kind of try to get rid of some of this cloth. Let's get rid of the bird skin. Wait a minute, what's the difference? So that comes from a muffalo, but this is, oh, well, that's fur. Well, see, that's okay. Now I'm a little confused. I don't understand why there's two different kinds of distinct fur items or wool items that come from the same animal, unless that's supposed to be leather. Well, okay, I think that's more or less leather than it is fur. It says blue fur, but I mean it's more of a like a skin pelt, as to where I think with this it's more like actual full-on fur, as in like wool, like it says wool. Fuck, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. In any event, though, I don't think I need to sell as much stuff here, because I'm seeing that they only have 999. So let's see here. Okay. Shit. 3, 2. That is not what I wanted. Now that I think about this, wouldn't it make more sense to just be able to like click on a thing and say, okay, sell everything up until their max amount of money that they have on hand or something, you would think. I guess that's not how this game works. 7, 3, 20 something, 30 something, 40 something, 50 something. Here we go. Okay, there. Is there anything else now? Not really. These guys don't really have a whole lot. There it all is. Halo gets up. Stuff. Oh, something else that's worth mentioning, just for conversational purposes, I guess. So someone's been driving into my yard. It's not super. It's not like they're off-roading in my yard or anything, but they're like about sometimes 2 or 3 feet into my yard. I don't think it's a bus because the tires aren't big enough to look like it's a bus, and it's not like indented enough. I think it's my mailman. If it's not the mailman, then it's probably one of the uh, parents that wait for their kids out here along the road in the mornings and in the afternoons, because I live right next door to a school. And of course, what better way to take care of that than to lay down some custom-built caltrops using using some wood nails, which I'm not proud of, but at some point, chivalry goes out the back door. Because I mean, when somebody's driving into your effing yard, man. At what point do you say, all right, you know what? If you're going to play that game, then we're going to cost you some tires. So that's what I did last night. Whenever I got home, I saw that whoever it was that's been doing this, they decided to go ahead and drive about 2 or 3 feet into my yard versus the standard about 1 foot that they've been doing. And the moment I saw that, man, that was the moment that I said, all right, you know what, fuck this. And I went into my garage and I built 3 caltrops where it was really nothing more than a piece of wood with about a 2 inch nail driven through it, maybe 3 inch. I can't remember how long it was. And I laid them out there last night, and I see 2 of them, so I don't know if one of them was taken, but I didn't have any mail today when I got home, so if it is the mailman, I don't think it was him that may have taken that third caltrop, or at least I didn't see the caltrop. It may actually be out there, but I know that I've got 3 out there, or at least I did have. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens out of all that. In my opinion, man, everyone should have enough common sense to say, all right, look, it's probably not good to be driving into fucking people's yards. I hate having to like do shit like this or like that, you know. And it's only like a temporary type of thing that I'm gonna do because at some point I'm gonna wind up buying some yard rocks or yard boulders to put out there so that people can't do that. But in the meantime, though, man, there's just only so much fucking patience that I have for people because at some point I reach a point where I'm like, all right, you know what? If you're gonna be doing that, then two can play at that game, and so we'll see what happens out of all that. I just hate it whenever people do shit like that, though. You know, it's not right. You shouldn't have to tell someone not to fucking drive in your yard for crying out loud. And if anybody says, well, you know, I saw these in your yard, did you do that unintentionally? I'll be like, I didn't put those there. It's their word against mine, man. And besides, why would you think that I did it? What makes you believe that I would do that? What? Oh, is it the tracks that you just left with your car or truck or whatever? Oh man. Oh shit. I forgot to do something here. Okay, well, I guess Pickle's gonna be okay. I meant to come back and have whoever it was that was in need of medical attention to be rescued, but it looks like they're gonna be okay. She's taking care of it. Yeah, as a rule of thumb, for anybody that's watching me play this, one thing I like to do with every colonist that can do it, at least, is first of all set this little icon down here to fight. Because of course you can either have them ignore, attack, or flee as a response to them being attacked, I guess. And I always have them set to attack and to self-doctor or self-tend. Now, some people can't do that, or some of your colonists can't, and if they can't, well, you just got to deal with it, you know. But if you can have them doctor at least a little bit, regardless of whatever level it is that they might have, you always want to set that to enable the doctor, or not firefight, doctor right here. Enable that for everyone. By the way, I need to turn these on. Who was that? You know, I should have seen who that was. I think it might have been Oski. No, it was either Warner or Vic. Let's see here. Ah, it's Vic. I always do that, and the reason being is because regardless of what level they are with with doctor stuff, medical or whatever. If they're out in the field and they have some bandages or something, they can still at least patch themselves up while they get inside to be treated by an actual doctor. Because if you don't do that and they get shot and they're out there in the field incapacitated or limping along or something, they won't self-tend to themselves to like wrap up a wound at least, and they'll eventually die. So always make sure to turn that on. Looks like, okay, I think Sellers is on it. There we go. All right, there. Looks like they're working on it. One thing at work that we're doing right now, and trust me, I don't want to talk about work a lot or anything, but it's kind of interesting to think about. So where I work, I'm a programmer analyst, which is really just a generic term for anybody who knows how to code, okay? And my specialty is user interface design and internet media delivery. So I can basically do a lot of stuff with websites and, you know, that kind of thing. Some of that work involves things like creating integrations between systems, and that's one thing I do a lot at work. Is we'll like have a system that has to populate another system with a bunch of data, and so usually I get involved in those kinds of projects because what I do then is I write applications that reach into one system, run some sort of MySQL or Oracle query, extract a bunch of records, create a CSV file out of it, and then send the CSV file over into a different system. That way that other system has data that we need to populate with it or populate on it. And the reasons for this is just it just depends on the utility of the products that we're using that we do this stuff with. Well, one thing that they're trying to do is use an application that can handle that type of shit. That way guys like me aren't sitting there all the time writing PHP scripts that do all this kind of stuff to juggle all of this data. And so we're kind of going through training right now of this product, and I don't really know how extensively we're going to use this product. I personally don't really want to use it because I do better with actual code than I do with this clunky fucking thing that they're trying to train us in. But this product, it can do a lot, man. It's basically trying to remove cron jobs from equations of stuff that we work with, and they're trying to make everything point and click and configurable instead of having to write code all the time. From an organizational standpoint, it makes sense, but from a programming mindset, though, you know, the problem that this creates is that you put all of your nuts and bolts in one vendor product bucket, and yeah, everything's hunky-dory for a year or two until somebody somewhere decides, okay, well, we don't want to use that product anymore. So all of that integration work then at that point becomes superfluous, and you're left with some sort of export file that you have to then use to basically replicate the integrations outside of that product, which means that you're back into code. So I don't really know where all that's going, but I'm trying everything I can to avoid using the product, because I just don't like the fact that, you know, I'm the guy, or I'm one of the guys for integration work, and now suddenly they think they're going to wind up being able to point and click that away. Now they've got me working on that kind of stuff, so I mean, it's not as if I'm losing my job or anything from it. But going from code that you're comfortable with to this weird interface that's kind of clunky and a lot of legwork with pointing and clicking things and reloading pages and shit, you know, it's just kind of a pain in the ass. They're all trying to do basically low, no-code approaches with stuff, because if you're a C-suiter, you know, that's up in the tower making all the decisions on organizational things, in your mind it makes sense to do a low no-code approach, because then at that point you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, okay, that means that more people will be able to do more stuff without needing to use people like me for everything. So I mean, from that standpoint it does make sense, but in practice it's nowhere near like that, because we've had this type of stuff before with other scenarios, and it never goes over as well as they want it to. Did I miss a block over here? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I did. It's almost third. There. Ooh, this could be good. Let's see what this is. Some Glitter World mech commander helmet and some armor. A plasteel weave combat helmet designed for battle mechanators. It's embedded with computers and signal enhancers that moderately increase the wearer's maximum control bandwidth. This allows the mechanator to control more mechs. Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm a little more enticed by the offer of Glitter World more than I am anything else, and I don't even really feel I need that. I mean, I can definitely use it because I've only got 3 left, but granite, limestone, slate, and marble. I don't know, man. Architect Eye, too. Plenty of plasteel. I don't care about luciferium, but the other stuff, it'd be kind of cool to have. It'd give me a reason to use some of that excess block that I have out there. How long do I have to have it, though? Protect the monument for 64 days. I might have done it if it was only, say, like maybe 10 days or something like that, but I don't want to have to worry about whether or not that thing gets destroyed within that 64 amount of days. I don't want to mess with it. Screw it. Usually whenever I'm not at home dicking around with this game or doing other stuff around the house, I'm over there at the gym working out. I'm trying to kind of maintain some level of fitness, you know? It's just kind of difficult to do sometimes when you get in the midst of everything in your life. Especially with COVID, you know, COVID kind of threw me, got me off the wagon, so to speak. Messed my schedule up, because the place that I work out at is a place that's right over there where my job is, and before COVID hit, I mean, I was going over there every day, and now I'm back at the gym, you know, doing stuff, but I'm only doing like either a Monday, Tuesday type of thing, or I mean, a Tuesday, Thursday type of thing, or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of thing. Most of the time, it's usually just been 2 days a week. But whenever I go over there, man, I bust ass. You know, I don't dick around. Not on my phone, fucking around with stuff like you usually see all the other 20-somethings do. I'm in there pumping shit, man. So in a way, I don't really feel very guilty for, like, not working out as often. But I went over there yesterday. Did a bunch of arm curls, shoulder presses, some crunches. Looks like they got that done. Oh yeah. Some crunches. What else did I do? A bunch of stuff with the shoulder and arms, really. Like I said, the core. Oh, I did 18 pull-ups. Was it 18? Yeah. Yesterday was 18. Up until like last week, I have been doing only 15, but I increased it to 18 this week, or so far I have. I'll probably get over there tomorrow and only do like maybe 15 or something. But there for a while, man, I was kicking ass on that too. Again, before COVID, I was probably doing about 21 per visit, which is pretty awesome for me, man. Because I'm kind of a big guy. I'm not really super big or anything, but I think last time I weighed myself, I was around 240, 245, something like that. And I'm not fat or anything. At least I don't think I am. Not when I look at myself. I'm a pretty muscular dude. But I could lose a few pounds at least. Because I'm about 240, 245, about 6'1" or 2. And, after I do my workouts, I always jog around the place I work at, and I think that's about a mile and a half to 2 miles. So by the time I get home, man, I'm dead. The one thing I am trying to get ahead of, though, is watching what I eat, which is one reason I'm eating as much sushi as I've been eating lately. Yesterday I kind of fumbled a little bit on that. I cooked up a pound of ground beef and made 2 hamburgers out of it. Not the worst, but not the best either, But the thing with me is I just can't stand it whenever I waste food. I don't like to, waste food. We're almost there. 3, 2, 3, 4, 3. Okay, hold on a second here. Make sure I do this right, because I think I might have just felled up. That 4. Oh, and then a 2, right? Okay. I was panicking there for a split second, thinking that I might have mucked up on something, but it looks like we're okay. Only those damn moisture things will do their jobs. Man. Right there. Pate. Don't be a party pooper. Maximum effort. On one of my other screens here, I've got the Allentown, PA Trump rally streaming. Got the sound on mute and stuff. And that Aileen or whatever Haba chick, that chick that was Trump's lawyer or is Trump's lawyer. Man, she sure is tasty looking. she's a hottie, man. Tell you what, that's one reason I'm voting for Trump too. He surrounds himself with good-looking ladies. that ought to be an absolute expectation for every presidential candidate moving forward. She is butter, man. Good-looking lady. I'll tell you, man, Trump's daughters are attractive as hell too, especially Ivanka. Guys, finish the fence. What is he doing? Or she? Oh, I guess there's a... Okay. Hey, what, Hello? Can you get that gold? No, don't have any place to store it. Okay. We got the auto door. Ooh, this could be interesting. Jose or Jose, I guess. Jose Guzman, a knight of the refugee dominion, is fleeing a troubled political situation, blah 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 blah. Come on, guys, give me some better stuff. Psychic reader gives them divine reading ability. Yeah. Yeah, these blow. Nope. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I'm kind of holding out for a mission that'll give me another one of these. Either that or maybe even some more of these things. Wait, what am I? What? Where is it? Oh. Okay, that's not gonna suffice. She's gonna get taken out. Let's see, we got Faye. Doesn't look like she's got... God damn it. Yep. Guess that's gonna be about the only person Alright. Can the guns not attack? It's not. God damn it. She's on it. Yeah, take that, MFer. Okay, go 10 to org, please. Hurry. Let me see here. Yeah, she's not looking good. Okay, select the war. There you go. Come on. Yep, you got it. Okay, where's Pepper? Okay, what about Wickenhot? Good job, Mip. I don't really know though if there's anything that I don't think you can do anything for animals, if I'm not mistaken. Because I'd love to be able to do something about it, but I just don't think there's anything that can be done. Poor thing. She's missing a rear right paw and a right eye torn out. Sucks. The thing though is that Mrs. Warwick, she's getting up there in age, unfortunately. 15. And this, I believe... Oh, okay, this, I guess, isn't the... Well, hold on a second. And Samantha's got a bond with it. I was thinking this might be the one that has the cataracts and stuff, but I don't think it is. Because I've got another one that's also magnificently named Mrs. War. and I believe that one's the one that's got like some cataracts and things like that, you know. Deconstruct this. So we'll get that one done. Shit, we need to make sure we do this. Okay, that'll be done. This is going to be done. these to get dried out. Is that ready yet? Oh. And look at this. So, making good progress, man. Very, very good progress. So, the next segment here. Is that's 3. Okay, so we got a 3, 3, 2, 3, 2. 3, 3, 2, 3, 2. 3, 3, 2, 3, 2. There we go. Okay. So 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2. Frig. Okay, that's gonna be a problem. Maybe. How should I go about doing this? Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Would have been a 3, right? 3, and then we start off on the tons of 2s, so let's see if we can do this here. 2, 3. So how many 2s do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That sounds about right. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Go up 1. Okay. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. 2, 2, 2, 1. Two, 2, 1. Just about there, man. Get rid of some of this because I think it's throwing me off. In fact, I'm just gonna do all of it. God dang it. There we go. Alright. So 2, 2, 1. Alright. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. 2, 1, 1, 2. 2, 1, 1, 2. Just about there. 1, 2. Actually, you know what? 2, 3, 3, 4. 2, 3, 3, 4. Yeah. Wait a minute. Getting jumbled here. In my mind. I'm not good at doing stuff like this, man. 3, 3, 3. 3, 3, 3. 3, 3, 3, and then a 4. Okay, there. Good enough. Ass whooping time. Die! Him. Alright, let's see here. Damn. Still dealing with that friggin' mud. Where are we? Oh, that's... I guess that's bridge. Whoa, Kaufman's in labor. Okay. If that's bridge, then we're gonna have to put wood right there. Which sucks. I hate using wood, but gotta do what we gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. 9. Alright. Kaufman. Someone's having a baby. Put her food up. Actually, no, we won't. We'll go ahead and do this now. Sellers, Fleming, Warner, Omar. Actually, not Warner. Damn it. I just screwed up. Where's Alo? Tiff, Vic, Sandra. There. I need to make sure that the, wait a minute, the pin, oh, because they're right there. I think that's all there is to worry about as far as the actual pin is concerned. That right there, because I fixed this. Alright. Well, I'm going to be happy to get this wall done, man. Or at least the majority of it. I still have these buildings to wrangle with and stuff, and I'm going to work out how I'm going to deal with that, but it'll be nice, though, to have the majority of the stuff done. Because it just means that we'll finally be getting to the guns and stuff, the uranium slug turret stuff. Hurry up, Kaufman. World's waiting on you. Better save this, man, because you never know what's going to happen here. You can do it! Plop the baby out. Oh shit, I had it on pause. I'm so sorry. Ooh, got it. Alright. Alright, let's... Damn it. I guess there's not really a whole lot to worry about here. Wow. I never really know what to really care about in this screen. I mean, as long as the baby's alive, that's the only thing I ever worry about half the time. So I guess it's boy. Cool. Okay. Nose. Slizzard. Some of these names are funny. Stefan, Pez, Wickenaut. I like Pez. Okay, so Pez needs to go in Mommy and Daddy's room for a while. Let's see here. So, Pez. Badass, man. My God, we've got a shit ton of people here. Just leave Pez there to move around on the floor. Okay, Mags. Mags needs a weapon. In fact, how are we? Oh my God, we've got 242 components, man. Okay, it's definitely time to start making some other stuff. Yeah, it's not finished hardware, but we'll do it on here. And I think this is Omar, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we'll have Omar work on this one. Omar's a badass, man. Really happy we wound up with him. And that other dude's turned out to be pretty awesome too. What's his face? Kinzo? Excuse me. Man, I'm getting hungry. Thinking about those drumsticks that I have in my fridge. The more I think about that, the better it sounds. Been playing for an hour and a half. We'll try to put in 30 more minutes. Call it a 2-hour game, and then find a point to stop. Looks like we've got some openings now for our biosculptors, so that's good. Looks like we've got 3 of them. I'm still blown away at the fact that we haven't been attacked by anything, whether it be insects or raid. Even despite the fact that we're all the way out here in the middle of nowhere, I'd still expect at least some insects or something to come by. I'm kind of surprised by that. What's poor Mrs. Ward doing? I'm surprised that we can't do something for it. Bugs me. What the hell do you think you are? Get him. Speaking of which, I haven't been looking around lately. See if there's any animals around. Got some deer. Damn it. Oops. Ooh, there's another donk. Get him. Uh-oh. What's with the donkeys, man? We have a lot of those around here for some reason. Dude. Looks like we're gonna have to put... Oh, it's that stupid drone shit. I hate it when that stuff happens. Okay. That damn psychic drone's causing some problems. I think what I'm gonna do here, though, I think I should probably make a bridge right there. Take care of all this. Okay, I'm beginning to get a little miffed here. So of course we've got to go and tear shit up. All this throwing a temper tantrum. Okay. Alright. That about does it for me. I think I've had enough Rimworld for one night. So I'll tell you what, man, we're gonna end the game right here. I'm hungry, and whenever it starts doing all this shit all at once is when I get turned off. So I'm gonna go ahead and save, revisit this either tomorrow or the day after. Hopefully get everyone through their little vision quests, and then move forward with the rest of the wall stuff. All things being said, though, frustrations aside, we finally got the wall basically done. We've got some other stuff to take care of, but that'll be fun stuff because now we'll be able to kind of figure out ways in which we're going to use all this new space. And somewhere in all of that will be probably where we'll put some of this kind of crap, that and this thing that's out here. I'm floating the idea of just simply moving it out here, that way I can kind of take full advantage of everything else. But I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. And like I said, I'll either try to play another episode tomorrow or the day after. Right now, I'm kind of on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of exercise routine, so it'll more than likely be on a Thursday that I'll upload again. So stay safe, and I will see you when I see you. Later.